Let's face it, SUVs are pretty much the go-to family car these days. But they've also gotten, well, a bit boring. If you want an EV that actually looks rugged, feels posh inside, and is loaded with tech, you usually have to empty your bank account. But then along comes the JAECOO E5. Starting at a much friendlier £27,500, this brand new electric SUV from China wants to give you all that rugged charm, family practicality, and premium comfort for a fraction of the price. It's basically built for people who love the idea of a wild adventure, even if most of those adventures actually just end up being a chaotic run to the supermarket. Does it actually live up to the hype, or have they cut some serious corners to hit that incredibly low price tag? We've been living with the JAECOO E5 here at Octopus EV to find out exactly what it's made of, and considering it's been one of the top cars that our drivers have been leasing over the past year, there's clearly something about this car that people are loving. I'll tell you what, this is quite literally a box on wheels, isn't it? Very square, box here, box there, lots of space, and actually we've even got a frunk underneath here, which is ideal, keeping your cables away from the rest of your boot space. Quite a big, juicy boot as well. Speaking of juicy, have a look at these tyres. They're really thick, and that's what makes the ride so soft, and that's what makes all the curbs disappear as well. And because of that thickness, it does mean it's a lot harder to scrape your alloys. That's not a challenge. Please don't try and scrape your alloys, but it should be a lot more difficult. Overall, this really does maximize every inch of room in what is quite a compact space. And the funny thing is, when you press the button on the key, there's a bit of a delay. So if you're just there tapping along, don't worry, just hold it and it will open electronically. 480 litres. I don't know about you, but I don't carry my things in litres. I carry them in suitcases, and apparently big pink golf clubs, and they all fit reasonably well in the back here. In fact, you can raise the boot floor to have a continuously flat floor all the way through to load even heavier things all the way to the front, or you can lower the floor down and have a lower ceiling height to load more stuff back here while keeping your parcel shelf to keep those prying eyes away from nicking your stuff. So the exterior may come across as pretty simple and pretty boxy, but your money goes into the tech that's in here. From the Sony sound system you get on this luxury version, the large touchscreens, the wireless phone charger and the glass roof. But what I find really exciting is the fact that this car can effectively become a camp on wheels. So if you are going to go on a long trip, and let's say it's just you on your own, you could fold down the back seat, have a mattress that comes all the way through with that boot floor leveler set to the top position, and use the car's charging system to power up other things. This car does have vehicle to load, which means you can get an adapter that goes into the charger. You could power things like a toaster, a kettle, or a karaoke machine. So there's apparently 35 storage cubbies dotted around the interior, and I can see loads of them here, but I'm not going to count them all. The ones I am going to point out are a ginormous center armrest that goes all the way down, 2 cup holders up here, 2 spots for your phone. One of them is a wireless charger, the other one isn't. And at the bottom, you've got another cubby here to hide snacks. I'd put my snacks down there. All right, so let's say you've got your 4-legged friend out back and you've just got to pop into the post office for a couple of minutes. Well, don't worry, this has got a few smart modes, and one of them is a pet mode, which keeps the climate control set nice and cool or nice and toasty, depending on the weather, and displays this pet mode screen to make sure that any onlookers who see your pet trapped in the back, that they'll know that your pet is nice and comfortable. What I do wish is that they had a mother-in-law mode, because it'd be a shame to leave your mother-in-law or your nan in the back and it says pet up front. That might be an idea for the next model. The electric SUV space is jam-packed right now, but the JAECOO E5 carves out a brilliant middle ground. Instead of battling budget hatchbacks with 6-figure luxury SUVs, it takes on mid-size EVs like the Kia Niro, which kicks off at about £37,000. Its own sleek corporate twin, the Omoda E5 at £33,000, with the JAECOO and Omoda both owned by Chinese manufacturer Chery. Plus, what's really interesting is that its aggressive price tag is tempting buyers who may not have considered going electric this soon. It's actively pulling them away from popular petrol hybrid family cars like the Nissan Qashqai, the Hyundai Tucson, or even JAECOO's own petrol J7 model. Because when you realize you can jump into a tech-heavy electric SUV that will be significantly cheaper to run day to day, especially on an overnight home charging tariff, sticking with petrol becomes a much harder sell. But market stats aside, we want to dive into what this car is actually giving you for the money. So we're driving the luxury trim car, but the entry-level Pure will get you cloth manually adjustable seats. This luxury version gets you electrically adjustable synthetic or vegan leather seats. More importantly, they're ventilated, which means that if you're wearing shorts on a hot day like today where it's 30 degrees out there, your legs won't stick to the seats. It does feel very nice. But even better in the winter, your steering wheel's heated, and that does feel lovely when you're out there and it's freezing cold outside. What I will say about the interior is because of that boxy exterior profile, you do feel like you've got a lot of air around you. So much headroom, so much space all around you, and that's because of JAECOO's flat sort of boxy design. It does make it feel larger than it actually is. I'd say with the cost that it's at, the tech that you get, the size and the interior and the boot space, and the fact that this vegan synthetic leather is going to be quite easy to clean, this is going to be an ideal car for families. So one other cool thing about the luxury trim that we're driving is we have a full-length panoramic glass roof, which you can actually open, not by voice, but by pressing a button. Do you remember buttons? It does add quite a bit more light to the back, and if you have got kids that are, let's say, motion sick, this does really help. So what's it like to drive? Well, let's start with the numbers. It'll do 0 to 60 in about 7.7 seconds. That's pretty respectable, onto a top speed of 108 miles an hour. But what do I think of the way it drives personally? Well, it's perfectly fine. For a family car, what I do notice is that it's very softly sprung and very quiet too, which makes it a breeze to drive. It's definitely not a sports car if that's what you were looking for, but everything just feels really easy. The brakes, the accelerator, the steering, all feel very light and very responsive. So what about the screens we have around us? Well, there's two. There's a vertical display here, which has your media, your sat nav, all your settings, and you have this slim horizontal display, which gives you everything you need. It's just your speed, your battery, and what radio you've got, and maybe your cruise control. It just keeps it nice, simple, and concise. So when it comes to safety, as you'd expect with any modern car, it has all the modern bits and bobs to keep you from crashing into other cars and keeps you in your lane when you're driving at speed. That does mean it will also have all the modern bing bongs that you'd see from these newer cars. Now they are mandatory. It wasn't JAECOO's decision to put them on, but what I have noticed is that actually the bing bongs are pretty soft, very quiet, so they don't really interrupt your drive too much. In town, what you'll notice is it will have a speed limit assistant, and it will bing at you if you're going over the speed limit, which in theory is a good thing, but sometimes, and on some cars, it can get quite annoying. What I have noticed in this JAECOO E5 is that the bing bongs are pretty soft, but it has some useful safety tech too, like active cruise control. So you can set a distance between you and the car in front, set your cruise control to a particular speed, and just let the car take care of the traffic for you. If you are looking for the absolute maximum bang for your buck, it's very hard to beat the JAECOO. Realistically, on paper, if you don't mind the way it drives and you appreciate the space and the tech that comes with this sort of car, nothing quite can come close to it. But if you don't mind compromising on a couple of little bits, maybe you don't mind having as much space, then I'd say look at some of the French options. The Renault 4 has been a fantastic entry and starts at about the same sort of price point, if not a little bit cheaper. Then there's the more luxurious Omoda E5, but that does strike a balance where its more stylish angular looks takes away from all the space that you have in the JAECOO. There's the Ford Explorer, and that's basically a souped up Volkswagen ID4. Not the cheapest thing in the world, but if you like the Ford badge, maybe that's where you'll go. Ultimately, I think if you're looking for the best bang for your buck, give this a go. And if you like the way it drives, it might just be the car for you. Now that we've hit a bit of traffic, it's time to discuss an important topic. Batteries. This is an electric car after all, and the battery in this car is pretty important because it's actually manufactured by BYD. But the most interesting thing about them is the fact that they are made up of LFP, which is iron and phosphorus. Much more abundantly found in nature, much easier to source, which means two things for us: A, better for the planet, and B, cheaper for our wallets. The interesting thing is these batteries can also be found in certain Toyota models, and if Toyota use this type of battery, then you know it's going to be very reliable. Right, so we've just parked up and having a look at JAECOO's press release. They say that all of these JAECOO E5s have a 540-degree surround camera system. I'm like, there's no way you can get 540 degrees. 360 degrees is surround view. But when we look at the menu on the car here, there's an option for a transparent mode, where effectively when you're driving around, you'll have your full panoramic 360-degree camera system. But actually, if you switch on the transparent mode, it will record underneath the car using the front and rear cameras. So as you drive over something, you can see a full picture of everything around you. So just in case you've mullered your nephew's little tricycle, you can see it under the car. What a cool trick. So here's a fun fact. Both JAECOO E5 models, the Pure and the Luxury, have the same 61 kilowatt hour battery, which means a tested range of about 248 miles. Now, will you get 248 miles in the real world? Probably not, unless the weather is absolutely perfect and you're doing 52 miles an hour on a flat Dutch road. And quite frankly, 200 miles is plenty, especially if you have got a family, whiny kids, and a dog that needs to go for a walk every 30 minutes. That'll be plenty. What's more important is how quickly the car can then charge back up if you are going to do a longer journey. So what if you are doing that trip to Liverpool and you've got your kids in the back and you're doing that 10 to 80% charge? Well, charging on the motorway will cost you more. We estimate around £34 to get from 10 to 80%. To charge on the ultra rapid chargers. Now that is a bit more expensive than charging at home, obviously it is, but naturally filling up petrol or diesel on the motorway will also cost you a lot more than filling up locally. So your 200-mile range, how much is that actually going to cost you? Well, it depends on where you charge your car. And if you're like the 60% of Brits that have a driveway and you have a 7-kilowatt charger installed at home, and you're an Octopus Energy customer, you can join the Octopus Intelligent Go tariff and charge from around £3.50 to get a full 200-mile range. And here's a life hack for you. If you're an Octopus Energy customer and you lease the car from Octopus as well, which you can do, you can take part in our exclusive Intelligent Octopus Go EV Saver tariff. That really rolls off the tongue. So a full charge, that 200 miles, will cost you around £2.56. For complete video walkthroughs on how to set up your home charger with Octopus Energy or the Octopus Electroverse public charging app, make sure to check out our really helpful video tours linked below. So that takes us right back to our original question. Can a £27,500 EV really deliver a premium rugged experience? Well, what are some of the downsides that we've run into? It isn't one giant glaring flaw, instead it's a few small compromises that you'll need to weigh up. Because of that cool boxy styling, it's not the most aerodynamic shape on the motorway. The touchscreens and safety bongs can occasionally test your patience. But honestly, that's a remarkably short list of complaints when you look at the price tag. Because overall, the JAECOO E5 is an incredibly impressive package, high-end premium heritage brands may not be sweating over its hardcore off-road driving performance, but the traditional mainstream market should absolutely be looking over their shoulder at the sheer amount of car JAECOO's giving you for the money. So if you love the idea of a rugged adventure-ready SUV that feels far more premium than its £27,500 price tag suggests, this might be the car for you. This isn't a track day weapon, it's a comfortable, hugely practical, head-turning family cruiser that just happens to be electric, and it happens to be priced insanely well. If you think this might be the perfect EV for you, head over to octopusev.com right now. You can check out our latest offers, play around with our lease options, and see how easy it is to get this beauty parked on your driveway. Thanks for watching. Let us know what other cars you'd like us to review in the comments below, and we'll see you in the next one.